Hey everyone, welcome back to Freeze Frame. This is episode 6 of the best movie and TV podcast out on the biz, online, on the web, wherever you do your research or wherever you listen to anything. This is the spot because we deliver the rumors, the theories, the news, the updates, and this week we actually have a special guest with us, the fantastic, great-looking, charming, and always wise James Walmer in the building himself.
Thank you very much.
I am astonished. I'm also joined by the wonderful Ryder Maldonado, but you guys already know him.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we do.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
James, how you doing? You doing what?
It's a good day.
Feels like a good one. Yeah, definitely like,
you know.
I feel like the whole country's kind of been intense with the weather, that finally we get a chance to sunny days and just give me some of that news, you know?
Yep. I woke up and the birds were chirping today, and it's kind of the first time I heard birds chirping since like the fall winter season, you know, when they just kind of like aren't out very much, I feel like. So it's just nice. Felt good.
Nice.
That is good.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with our movie news. I'll go ahead and read off my first headline. Something that just recently happened. I saw this earlier on Twitter. The Flash is looking even more loaded now in their cast. They just recently casted a SuperGirl. The news was revealed by the Flash director Andy Muschietti on his Instagram. They casted, let's see. Oh, I don't think I have her name up here. I think you have it, Luigi, if you want to say her name.
Oh, dude, I had it, and then
I have it right now. It's Sasha Cal.
Sasha Cal.
Sasha Cal, yeah. She's a...
What else is she in?
I haven't looked up what other work she's been in, but she is a Hispanic Latina actress, and I think it's our first Supergirl.
She hasn't been in much.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
She's been in a few movies, of which are Final Stop, Deep Cuts, The White Shoes, and a movie called Rogue Tiger.
Oh,
so she's relatively pretty fresh. Yeah, I would say.
She's very fresh.
Apparently, It said that she beat out over 400 actresses on the call to get the role. So congratulations to her.
Wow.
Now we have two Batmans. Cool. We have, of course, Ezra Miller as the Flash and Sasha Cal now as Supergirl in the whole multiverse that's going on in the story. Pretty insane. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram video with the director, how he was like, I think it was an Instagram Live where he was just like, you're going to be playing... He has like the Supergirl costume.
Right? Yeah, I saw
and she's like, Twitter, "Oh my god, like I can't believe it." To know that she beat out 400 actresses, that's a small pool, honestly. Yeah. Like that's a winnable bet right there.
Is it?
That sounds dead to me.
As an actor,
that sounds really big.
I
but
mean,
in retrospect,
400?
Dude, for college, I had to go up against 2,000 people for 20 spots.
Oh yeah, got you. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like that's pretty reasonable. If anything, that makes me kind of impressed with the way that they're treating auditions here in Los Angeles. Because sometimes they'll be, for a big character like that, it could be, 5,000 people send in tapes and everybody's watching them. But speaking of DC, I just wanted to step into this real quick. I know we've talked about the Snyder Cut a lot, but I was watching this video that was actually talking about what's actually going to be going on in this movie with a little bit more detail. And I was actually very fascinated. I wanted to share it with people. And it was revealed that remember how it used to be like a dream sequence that was in the future, that Bruce is like, oh, I had a dream about this, on like this coming thing that could happen.
Yeah.
So now it's no longer a dream. It's just like a set reality. So that like those events do happen to where now they're in the future and it's like wasteland. When Darkseid has taken over, I think it was Batman versus Superman where they first introduced this like world,
right? When he starts shooting people, yeah.
So it's no longer like a dream; it's like a reality that has come true 5 years into the future, and so that's the way they're fixing that.
It's like a glimpse into the future, not just a dream.
Exactly. So now we see.
Well, I thought that's what it was originally.
No. So originally it was just like a dream that Batman had. Yeah. Of like what could happen, and that was like, I guess it was like that was the Josh Whedon version of going through it. But Zack Snyder was like, no, this is like a reality that happens because Darkseid comes and he takes over.
Yeah. Okay.
Which makes sense now why they would send Flash in time, to go fix the timeline.
Yeah.
And so the most curious thing about the trailer that we got. was the Joker moment, right? When Joker's there.
Yeah.
And the guy who was doing this video was saying, it's going to be such a great moment when Batman and Cyborg, who we see standing behind him unfocused,
He looks
have
bad.
to, right.
Yeah.
They have some form of like bargaining chip that they're coming in the Joker with, right? Like they need something from him in this dystopian world. And it's interesting because we're seeing this Joker survive in this wasteland, and
What's
you're
his
just
name,
kind of like,
Ryder? What's his name,
His
Ryder?
name is Jared Leto. That's what I like to call him. The best
Jared
actor.
Leto? Is that what you
Jared
said?
Leto,
He said
yeah.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
I joked
done.
about that another day, and they really liked how I pronounced his name. It was so funny. Yeah. But
It's a little
Jared
weird
Leto.
for me, but
Yeah.
but
I've been talking about
but
that,
it's just interesting how like I had no idea that was the direction of this film. I thought it was still like the dream sequence and
Yeah.
all that.
It's
So it
interesting for
added
sure.
a little bit more context for me. So I just wanted to share that on this week's episode because I just found it and I was like, man, since we're already talking about DC, I might as well.
And
just
that
throw
was
this in
like
there.
coming straight from Zack Snyder.
That was coming straight from, I guess, somebody who's in the cast and crew. It was more of like,
Okay.
They
it's
were-
more like it's like a leak.
yeah. It was like a leak. It was like a
This is
leak
like
of
a
like
leak.
what's kind of happening. But
Got it.
those details were pretty much out there, I think, for a little while. It's just most people weren't like looking at the full synopsis of the film because everybody's just kind of like 4-hour film,
Yeah.
new stuff, like. But personally, I hadn't fully like, what is this movie specifically going to be about, like change wise, So there are some pretty big major changes just making that, and then I think
Well,
the
like,
actual
if that was
story of
Joss Whedon's direction, wouldn't that have? I feel like that would have fallen onto Zack Snyder's plate because Zack Snyder did Batman vs Superman. So I feel
Right.
like he would have more of a.
Yeah, I think he
True.
did the dream.
Uh,
So
uh,
he's probably
so maybe
close
he changed
hand.
it himself. You think? You think he was just like
Well,
this
I
was
think
a weak
if it,
storyline?
if it was sorry, I also have to like, I didn't watch Justice League, right?
Okay.
I did watch Batman vs Superman. So in that sequence, I perceived it as or interpret it as kind of like a glimpse into like a future of something that could happen.
Right.
Almost like a ghost of future, ghost of future past or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They're
Right, right.
like the Ebenezer Scrooge. But I mean, I guess I feel like that would be Zack Snyder's direction. I feel like Joss Whedon would have to follow Zack Snyder on that instead of Joss Whedon like having to interpret what happened
You're right.
in Batman vs Superman as a dream. I just feel like that would be
think
more of Zack Snyder's role than
What
Joss
you
Whedon.
touched on about how it could, like it could be something that happened. Now it is something that happened. I think that's the biggest change, right?
Okay.
Because
Got
it was
so
like
it's like more of a prophetic thing.
Seen
Got
that.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
right, exactly. And now they're more going to be treating them like flash forwards instead of like he wakes up from a dream and is like, this is going to happen. No, it's like now we're just getting a glimpse into this reality. And then it's
So
like,
how
how are they going to fix it in the span
So
of this
that
movie?
like, I mean, I guess this will be more touched on in the film. So like, how do they confirm that is something that will happen? It's not like,
Right.
like is Bruce Wayne gonna have some sort of interaction with some sort of like being or character that's gonna like confirm like in his mind like, guys, this is going to happen, and when like, or will it remain in that ambiguous realm of like, oh well, like this is like what I think is gonna, you know what I mean?
They
Right.
could
No,
perhaps
I-
connect
so
that
I-
Flash scene maybe.
Yeah,
From
exactly,
Batman vs.
exactly.
They could include that, and then they can add a lot to this movie. You know what I mean? It's a long film, and I
Right.
feel like they could connect
Sure.
the Batman vs. Superman Flash scene where they're back in time, and perhaps they connect that scene and add that to this.
Are they gonna
Justice
make
League,
this
you know?
movie Flashpoint?
It's gonna. It's
No,
gonna
no,
be
no.
this-
That's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next
It
one.
could be the yeah. It's gonna be little hints for probably the Flash.
Sure.
film. Interesting for sure. Yeah. Well, that was interesting. We got into that one a little bit. James, you brought some headlines for us as well. I don't know if you want to go ahead and read off your first one for us, kind of.
Yeah, I'll bring one up. Going off the topic of superheroes, I actually just discovered this last night, but Walking Dead writer Robert Kirkman just unveiled his new animated superhero series called Invincible. It's going to be an Amazon Prime exclusive series, and it's going to debut on March 23rd. It's gritty, it's violent, it's very similar to almost like a Superman sort of. Did you guys watch the trailer for this?
I haven't seen
haven't.
it yet, no. But
Okay,
I'm hearing a lot about this online.
It
I've
follows.
been up with it.
So it follows a family, and the dad is a superhero. Like he is a pre-established superhero, and so the reason why you don't know, but his son is like waiting on his like powers, and he like you know, he just like doesn't have powers, but he wants to be like his dad, you know, stuff like that. So eventually, sometimes in high school, he gets his powers, and then there's some point in the trailer that the dad is like very distraught, like, oh, like I need to like tell you something, or like something like that, and you're like, oh, like what's up with his dad, like what's something we don't know. And so it's almost like this coming of age for a superhero, but like with that dynamic, like with his dad, who is already like a pre-established superhero, and he like goes and he meets like another group of, I think, like teenage/young adult superheroes who like he's trying to coordinate with. But there's also some like just like out of nowhere, out the cuts, there's scenes that are super gruesome, where like there's this big dude who almost looks like I don't know, he looks like a Thanos type character, not Thanos, but I'd say like a Darkseid type character. Okay. You know, just a big bulky brute, and he like totally just comes over the head, smashes him in the chest with this big club, and you know, blood goes everywhere, you know. And it's like violent. And that kind of just surprised me, because I was like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be one of those shows. But it's done in that same animation style as a lot of the DC animations that are out right now, like Young Justice, and a lot of the DC animated films. But it's got a really cool cast. They had some big names in there. I mean, the only one I can think of right now off the top of my head is Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I was looking right now. They have Mark Hamill and Stephen Yeun, Walter Goggins. I mean, it seems like a pretty loaded cast.
It is a pretty loaded.
It seems like there's a kind of a little culture around this show. It seems like a lot of fans have been brewing up on social media, and it seems like there's a lot of hype surrounding the release of this show, because I know that the comic book run was fairly successful for being such a random release. So
I think it was Robert Kirkman's first work. I could be wrong.
Wow.
Do you think that shows like this, like another superhero show, do you think it's just what people are going to start leaning on more for content? Because I feel like there's so much superhero content out that it's like, do you think that resonates the most with people, James? Or do you think that like people love the idea of there being a hero who saves the day and having a happy ending? Do you think like plays into that?
I think superheroes are always going to be popular, 100%, because it's always going to be I mean, superheroes are in an interesting position now, especially because I feel like they're starting to be a lot less romanticized in a lot of ways. Like back in the day, like when you start to like look at the dawn of superheroes, that's like your Superman, your Captain America. They're very like idealistic, like, oh, this is like a exemplar for who like we want to be for our kids, like who they want to grow up to be, like that. But then in recent years, we have shows like The Boys, in which they take a critical look at superheroes and like what they would actually probably function like in modern society. And you also have shows like you know, popular anime too, like My Hero Academia, things like that are really getting into like what where heroes are almost part of like this business market, right? And you see that with the capitalistic you know, the Seven and the new look we're getting as superheroes. And I don't think we kind of get a little bit of this in the MCU and the DCU, but it's not publicized as much. Like you have like your Civil War in the MCU, but like that doesn't really hold a lot of weight in at least the cinematic universe.
Right.
But then you go into like the more, I think when you go into the more niche superhero stuff like the DC animated universe, which is super dark, super gritty, and I really enjoy these very, I would say, realistic portrayals of superhero, because it forces the audience to more critically engage with not only superheroes as exemplars, but just exemplars who we see in our society, right? These people who we used to be able to look up to and say like, oh, I want to be like them. But like also recognizing that at the end of the day, these are just normal people too, and people are always going to be flawed, right? And so it goes along with expectations and Right.
No, I hear you. I feel like there's so much of the surface level that we see in a lot of these movies where it's like The Boys was something that was more like a gritty take on the reality of it. Like, hey, I'm sure these people have to make money still. The best way to make money is to become essentially a celebrity as a superhero, you know? And then it's like you have freedoms to go and do whatever you want. The first episode of that show, spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Boys, is literally the fast dude speeding through the street, and it kills one of the main guy's girlfriend. Collateral damage, collateral damage. And then he's just kind of like speeds away, and it's just this moment where you're like, these people think that they can do whatever they want, and that brings you into the whole concept of the show. But what I love about these new takes, like even this Robert Kirkman one, is it's exploring kind of like the coming of age of a superhero, a very young mentality of what someone isn't necessarily an adult or like a type of established character already, but it's more of like I would say maybe first year Bruce Wayne. He's figuring out he wants to be a Batman, maybe
or
he
like
hasn't
Spider-Man.
even, or even like a Spider-Man, exactly, like a Peter Parker going to high school,
which is why I think
dealing
a lot
with
of
the
people
problems.
latch on to characters like Spider-Man, right? Because they're this coming of age, they relate to him. Oh, he's socially awkward. I'm socially awkward. Like, he's a nerd. Like he does, but he's still able to like do things. But I think it's also very like, it's almost like shows like Invincible will be a gut punch for a lot of those audiences who love those kind of like quirky young heroes, because it shows the imperfections, and it shows how the lack of experiencing things like tough like suffering that is inevitable to get experience and to actually like succeed. I mean, I have no idea where the show's going, so I don't want to like try and like predict where the development of the main character is going to go. But like being optimistic about this bright new world, about like wanting to like go into it and succeed and like be yourself, and then getting beaten down because like you're not good enough, or like you don't have that experience yet, and how that is a necessary part of the process of really being indoctrinated into the culture that we have created.
Speaking of coming of age, we have a brand new show that just recently came out. Actually, first episode dropped this week. Young Rock. If you are not watching Young Rock, I'm going to tell you right now, highly recommend it.
What is it?
It's a show. It's a show about Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It is Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
running for president in the year 2035. And he's being interviewed by none other than Jimmy Woo himself, Randall Park. And he's basically like, they're going through the whole, like, why are you running? And he goes, if you really want to know why I'm running, you got to know me at my youth. And he goes through like 3 different eras in his life: when he's a kid, when he's a teenager, and then when he's in college. And you kind of see these different eras of his life. And what I love about this first episode is they do a really good job of talking about working the gimmick. And this idea of working the gimmick, it's brought up a lot during this first episode. And it makes it a lot more than just another show you watch on TV. Because for them, working the gimmick is like being a wrestler and being on stage. You're working a gimmick. You're working a character. And when they start talking about it on this show, it becomes more real about like becoming someone you're not, but finding success in that. And it is actually super well made, that it was like, I was actually very interested. I was surprised by it. I'm not gonna lie. Because when I first saw the trailer, it dropped like 4 days ago. I was like, what is this show? And then all of a sudden, it's one of the few shows that I would say recently has tried surprise marketing and shock marketing, where it's last second, right before the show drops, they're dropping all their advertisements. And I think the last thing that I noticed did that was Ad Astra with Brad Pitt, where you didn't see anything about it. And then all of a sudden it was like, this movie's coming out in 2 weeks. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I've never even heard of this thing, And it's just like, it was very much that with Young Rock. But they actually managed to do something interesting here and give you something.
I actually really like when studios do that. I mean, that's been fairly prominent in the gaming industry, not necessarily on such a scale where it's like, here, it's out in like 2 weeks. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they do like, oh, well, you can download this tonight.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it takes place in like, I remember going or watching a Bethesda E3 conference, and they announced it in June, and it came out that November. And I love that, because it kind of, I think hype in a lot of these entertainment industries can be so toxic because of these expectations it creates. Like, I think aside from Cyberpunk's release actually being awful, it was also crippled by incredible expectations that it could never live up to, because people knew it was in development for so long. So I actually really enjoy it when studios will say like, come out of nowhere, drop advertising and be like, boom, new show out in a month. be there, and I'm like, oh shit, cool,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
And so then I don't even like, you know, I'm starting like, oh, like it could be this, that, and that, but like I don't have this year or two of suspense where people like I'm listening to people's like talking about it and they're starting to like come up with like theories and everything, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good, and then it's like oh well, this was pretty good, but like it wasn't. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
It was
the build-up.
because it can never be what you
Right.
think it's gonna be, right?
Right.
Well, speaking
Cyberpunk
of-
proved that for us.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, speaking of Cyberpunk, for those of you listening, we do have James is from our other podcast of Strictly Casual called Checkpoint. For those of you listening, we know we do movie and TV news here, but if you're interested in gaming news, feel free to check that out. That's, of course, on all audio platforms, and they go live on Twitch every Thursdays and post on YouTube on every Fridays. So just wanted to plug that.
Yep.
For Strictly Casual.
Yeah,
Check us out.
if you love listening to James's sweet voice, you guys
Ooh,
better be
yeah.
listening to Checkpoint.
Anyways.
Every week, delivering the news.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
That's the greatest favorite.
Anyways, continuing on here, I got some news for Disney Plus. We have one of our Marvel shows, Miss Marvel. They just casted Laura Martin as Zoe Zimmer. So the Disney Plus series is currently in production now. And so basically Zoe Zimmer is a character in the comics. She's basically a popular girl in high school. So I imagine this is like a Ned type character to, a Ned to Peter. This Laurel could be a friend of Miss Marvel, of Kamala Khan, or it could be like, the bully in school because she's all popular. But who knows?
Gotcha.
One thing I do know for sure is that there's going to be a lot of young actors and actresses in this show because it is kind of a, young, like a Peter Parker high school, you know what I mean? But she gets her powers, of course. But that's where we have on that.
That's cool. Speaking of Disney Plus, we have a brand new show coming called Assembled, and it's going to be a BTS show about the making of Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus.
I don't care about any of these. I really don't.
It's going to drop in the first week between WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so you'll have
Some
something to
people
look
really
forward
like
to.
these, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm actually really interested to see WandaVision's BTS just because some of their shots are actually
Well,
really
yeah, you
cool.
guys are like,
but-
you guys are actors who like all that,
Right.
you know. I just consume the shit.
Yeah, I was looking at a schedule thing. I think it was a video on TikTok or something on social media where, for those of you Marvel fans that are interested when it comes to Marvel content, and this, for those of you that kind of get burned out, this could be bad. But as a Marvel fan, I personally love this, that we will be getting Marvel content every single week, probably up until September, October, all the way up into the end of the year, because now of this assembled show. You have the break between WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier now has this BTS that drops on that Friday. And then in between Falcon and Winter Soldier and Black Widow, there is a BTS, another one of those. And then between Black Widow and Loki, another one. And then you get Loki. So it's basically nonstop.
So they say, here's a break, but we're not going to give you a break.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
They need to hold your attention once a week, at least,
I guess.
I thought it was going to be a lot for me, but
Well,
I think
here's,
the
like,
30 minutes
I
a
don't
week
think-
is like...
No one really noticed that there was no Marvel content last year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when we came to the end of 2020 and people were like, and I read a Verge article that was like, there was a void that there was no Marvel content this year. And everyone, on social media and Twitter, everyone was like, no one noticed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think Disney needs to put all gas, no brakes. But I mean, Disney's gonna do what Disney's gonna do, and people are just gonna eat it up anyway.
Right.
I always say,
it's
as
like
long
we
as
were
it's good.
starving for it, so we might as well just eat it,
Especially during
But
quarantine.
were people even starving?
Some
people aren't starving
were.
for it, but they're gonna eat it anyway.
Right. No, I don't
know
think
what I mean?
I don't
It
think
depends
these
on how you
types of
watch.
shows can ever be bad.
Yeah,
None of these shows are gonna be failures. I think in Disney's eyes, especially since they've put in so
Well, no,
much
'cause
money.
people are
so
gonna
much
watch
time.
them anyway.
Right.
It can't actually I mean, it cannot live up to the quality, and maybe if it's not good, right, people will, let them know with their wallets. But I mean,
Right.
people are gonna be so interested in that content in the first place that I don't think it's ever going to really,
Fail.
not make
fail.
money.
Yeah. I
Right.
agree. If it's bad, because I always say, as long as it's good, if it was like a Justice League, with Josh Whedon, people will know and they'll say it. They will speak their truth and speak their opinions. If the show
Right.
comes out if Loki releases and it's like, oh, what are they doing? I think we'll hear about it. So if WandaVision's coming out and people are already like, yes, feed me, and we just had Marvel like nonstop for a couple years, and I'm like, well, keep doing it as long as it's good. I'm saying,
Sure.
if you're feeding us just garbage and it's like, what are you doing? But as long as you're keeping new takes, adding new directors, adding new actors, I say this probably every week now. I sound like a broken record. As long as it's good, I'll keep. Anyways, enough about that. Okay,
go ahead.
Up next, let's see what I got here. Sorry, I lost my little list here. Oh, this was pretty cool. Ewan McGregor, of course, Obi Wan Kenobi himself, is training for the Star Wars series Obi Wan Kenobi. There was a photo posted of him on Twitter of him working out in the gym, and it was kind of like posting a little tweet
to see him.
of his training. He's getting ready.
See it.
So
You'd
hopefully
love
production will start soon.
Speaking of Star Wars, Zack Snyder's been rumored to want to direct a Star Wars film. Disney's trying to scoop him
I'd be
up.
down for that.
Trying to scoop him up. That's
That's
just
a
a
nice
rumor,
tie-in.
though.
Yeah.
You want another one? Netflix reportedly trying to secure Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Chris Hemsworth to multiple projects. Why wouldn't you?
What?
I know.
Netflix is trying
Yeah.
to scoop up Disney's artists and just be like, let me get you in a couple mil. Like,
Because a
look,
lot of these are leaving the MCU, right?
but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also
Maybe.
you got the hype
Yeah.
from the MCU that's
Right.
literally just
So
gonna
they're
sell
trying
the
to capitalize on
Netflix. Yeah, seriously, you see Chris Hemsworth in a movie in Netflix. I'm gonna watch it this week because I already know that's Thor and it's
But
quality.
that also like
you know?
doesn't like because you see like Ryan Reynolds in something like Six Underground. You know,
I didn't watch
and
it.
That was
I-
it was not good.
You didn't like it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun action flick. In no ways was it that I.
But
think
like
was,
that's
oh,
all
amazing.
it's gonna be, you know. Like
Yeah.
Right.
so I don't want Chris Evans fun action flick number 27. You know.
Right,
I got
like a
you.
Liam Neeson where it's just like gassed out. Like you're just like, why am I watching another action movie on a train with Liam
We've
Neeson?
seen-
Like,
We've seen Hemsworth in Extraction from the Russos. That was great. I'm sure there's going to be a cinematic universe there. And we've seen Chris Evans already in, I think, the Diving Sea Resort or whatever it's called.
I just want to say this:
Extraction
not
good?
everything needs to be a freaking cinematic universe. Have a
Yeah.
standalone
Sure. I
film
know,
and just let it stay alone. Like I don't need everything to try to become a multiverse
The
and
dark
have a comic
universe.
book line and just like it's too much for some of these projects. Like I'm like just make one film.
Make
And
one
just
film.
let it
End
be.
it.
Like
End
Baby
it.
Driver. Baby Driver, excellent film. And then they just left it alone. Even they were like, we're gonna make a sequel. Director was like, I'm not making that sequel.
I heard Edgar
You don't
Wright's
need, it
writing a
doesn't need it.
script.
It doesn't need it.
I heard Edgar Wright was working on a script for a sequel. That could have just been, I don't know.
Why?
They might have sold him on the idea, but
No.
I don't think he really.
No, but I
wants to.
agree. I agree. With movies like that, they just need to be a one-off.
It
and that's
just doesn't need a sequel,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm looking at Edgar Wright's
Say it, I'll
portfolio
stop.
right now. Man's a
You're good.
legend. Anyway,
Do you have any anything else, James? You want to go next?
I do. This week we had Crunchyroll's Anime Awards for the year, and Jujutsu Kaisen takes home Crunchyroll's Anime of the Year. If you guys don't know about it, you guys aren't cultured anime folk, so let me just let you know.
Let me
Jujutsu
know.
Kaisen is a show about ghosts and ghouls and spooky soul things, right? And so it follows a protagonist name is, I think it's Yuji Itadori, and he is basically he belongs to his high school's occult club that just like they study like ghosts and ghouls and goblins and you know stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
But eventually like it comes to a place where they're called cursed spirits, and it attacks the school, almost kills his friend, and in the
Oh, wow.
process Itadori swallows a cursed artifact, right? An artifact that is imbued with a curse's power, and basically in doing so, he is basically like kind of partially possessed by like an ancient spirit named Sukuna, and he is like the most powerful like spirit, right?
Right.
But it's only a fraction of his power, and so the guys who are called the Jujutsu sorcerers, the people who go out and they exorcise these cursed spirits, are basically they make the decision. They like, all right, we're gonna like kill you because like you're too powerful because you're Sukuna's vessel now. That's what his reference says. He's vessel. So, but he has the unique ability to control him. So like, it'll cut to like moments of dialogue when he's like suppressing Sukuna, because Sukuna just wants to like come out and like destroy everything. He's Sukuna the Destroyer. But Itadori has the amount of like willpower to just kind of suppress like him and be like, no, like you aren't gonna like do that, right? So what so they were gonna kill him just to make sure that like Sukuna's dead, and like and that they don't really care about Itadori, so they just want to kill Sukuna. But he has 20 of these fingers that are all imbued with his with his spirit. So instead they say, all right, you're gonna go and you're gonna like, you're basically gonna swallow all of these fingers, right? Which are these artifacts that have his power, and then we'll kill you afterwards. So the whole show follows him, and he's like going through and he's trying to like eat these fingers to get Sukuna's power. But there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
Basic premise.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's incredible. The animation is incredible. It's got this super cool, like, there's moments of kind of realism with like light and water effects, but also there is super unique hand-drawn elements when, you kind of see like the powers like going on. Anyway, it's an incredible show. Great things, great everything. I froze on camera. No, we're good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend if you're willing to try anime. But
awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for that summary. I appreciate it.
It's on Crunchyroll.
I assume that Crunchyroll has like a yearly award show, right? And this is
They do.
Okay. Cool.
There's a lot of other awards they put out too, but I just thought I'd share the Anime of the Year award.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Thanks for that. Luigi, what you got?
I got two big ones. I got Jordan Peele taps Keke Palmer for his next project. I know we've talked about Jordan Peele coming out in 2022, July 18th. Keke Palmer's going to be in that. Interesting. I like that he keeps working with black artists and actors because I think that makes his projects kind of special in my eyes. But also, speaking of black entertainment, Craig Robinson's getting a sitcom at Peacock. Kind of fun. I don't know if you know anything about Craig Robinson. I've met him once, and I saw him at the Teen Choice Awards, and he was on Facebook looking at memes. And my opening line was, Craig Robinson, looking at memes. And he goes, that's what I'm doing. And I was like,
oh my God.
Oh my God. I bet he's like, this fucking guy.
Yeah, he was kind of like this fucking guy. But he was, I asked him, I was like, why are you here? And he was like, my niece wanted to come see one of the people who was hosting, or one of the people from Riverdale, I think. And so he was just there. It was pretty funny though. It was so random because I literally was just like, what the heck? Like, I was sitting behind the kids from Stranger Things, and I've seen these kids for like 4 times at this point, and I'm just like, you guys are everywhere. Right now. You know, like you get on Stranger Things and you're blowing up no matter what.
Yo, did you guys hear about Stranger Things season 4? So I think it's either the writer or the director. He said he was super excited for Stranger Things season 4, and it's going to be darker and grittier and more intense. And so he's basically saying like every season has been more intense, more dark, more horror, and he said, I can't wait to kick it up to the next level for this next season.
Looking forward to hearing that. Looking forward to seeing that, because I think they need to keep.
I'm really looking forward to that too.
They need to keep up in their ante. I want to see the dark. I want it to get gritty and get good.
I do too. I'm like, give it to me. I want horror.
Mom, feed me.
I'm still here. Haven't watched a single episode, so I'm excited for y'all.
It's good. I think it really is good. It's overhyped for sure, but it's good.
Absolutely.
I always recommend it. But speaking of horror, we got some horror news. I don't know if you guys have seen this film, Train to Busan, which this is kind of, I don't know if it's a bummer. Train to Busan, the classic zombie film. It was on Netflix. It popped off. It's getting a US remake.
Oh, and this is really, I read about this.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Everyone was like, how are they going to reenact this movie in the US when we don't have bullet trains?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. They're getting James Wan is producing, and Timo Tahanto is directing. I probably butchered his last name. I'm sorry, but yeah, if James Wan is attached to this project, I'm sure it's gonna have high scale, high stakes. Because James Wan's, very prominent in Hollywood. But yeah, you're right. That is a good point. The bullet train was a big.
That's like the whole movie.
Thing. They're on a
Train to Busan.
CGI.
I'm sure they can have just a regular train, like just a regular steam powered train, or locomotive. You know what I mean, like on a passenger train, because we do have those, like Greyhound maybe, but Yeah.
Like an Amtrak sort
yeah,
of
an
deal?
Amtrak or
Right.
Greyhound. Yeah.
Sure, I guess.
It's kind of funny.
I don't know.
That's a good point you made.
I got this really cool update on Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton.
Ooh!
With Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay.
They're saying this show is probably going to be a CW exclusive.
What?
Damn it!
Right.
Exclusive.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God, I know.
Michael Keaton.
I hate CW.
Michael Keaton on the
CW's
CW
bane of my
though.
existence.
Odd. I don't know if he'll go for it. I feel like he's gonna be like, put me on HBO Max. I don't want to be on CW. So-
HBO Max is where the budget
You can
is.
do better. You can do better.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Batman Beyond is definitely happening with Michael Keaton. I think that they're still saying it's rumored, but at this point, it's been rumored so much that it's like, what else is he
I
gonna do?
wonder who's gonna
you
play
know?
Terry McGinnis.
I don't know, dude. James Walmer probably. I heard that guy's a legend.
I would love to
Heck,
be.
I was like so
I would
lost.
love to
I
be
was like,
Terry McGinnis. Are you joking me?
Put the costume on, dude. I'd love to see you in costume, like at a WonderCon or something.
That'd
That's
be
badass.
so sick.
That'd be
Makes you
so
miss
sick.
cons.
Also, this one was kind of funny. Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, put a video out for the Academy Awards talking about the technical award that is given out. And it within 5 minutes of it being up on the Academy Awards website on YouTube, it got 60 likes and 66,000 dislikes.
Oh my
because of the
God.
Gina Carano firing, and people were just like, "Man, fuck you, Kathleen Murphy."
Oh my
or
gosh.
Kennedy, Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah,
They said,
you could count on
bye.
the Star Wars fans to make their opinion heard and dislike a video on YouTube because we see that
Seriously.
a lot. You know?
And but here's the thing. Then the YouTube and the Academy, one or the other, took away the parameter for you to see how many likes and dislikes the video had.
Okay,
And it was like, man, you guys
Wow.
trying to protect these people too much. Like,
Yeah.
just let them be hated by the public. Like, they fucked
for
up.
real.
You
That
know,
is
what can I do
interesting.
about it? You know. So, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
I got one.
James-
I was gonna say, yeah. Pitch it to James. What do you got? You have another one we want to throw at us?
As you probably know, I already saw this in Luigi's doc, but Mortal Kombat dropped their first trailer this week, and that comes with an April 16th release date, both in theaters and on HBO Max.
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
hyped about this. I heard
It looked. I didn't think it was gonna be good. Like, I avoided this trailer because I was like, and then I was like, you know what? I should probably watch it.
Right.
You know. And then I was like, oh.
You were
yeah, it looks
intrigued.
enticing for sure.
I
The
was so
CGI
intrigued.
The director on social media actually came out and said that Sub-Zero is going to be the actual villain. So that at least we know that's more story stuff. But yeah, I think this
I never.
CGI looks great.
Sub-Zero's a villain?
Is more of the.
Is that the way it's been in the games?
I feel like
I don't
Scorpion
think so.
and Sub-Zero have always been the fighting, and then it was always like Scorpion was like the hero, and Sub-Zero was the bad guy to that.
I
In
thought
that
it was
lore,
the
right?
opposite.
Really?
I always thought that Scorpion was the villain.
Huh. I mean, that's how they always seem to be convey it on trailers and video games. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Really?
yeah. But for those of you that haven't seen the
I
trailer,
guess I'm out of the loop.
yeah, there's a lot of cool game details from the video games in the trailers, like quotes like "finish him" and like "Kung Lao wins" and like all these cool things are probably
That's cool.
butcher thing.
I'm gonna have to
Get
check out the
over it.
trailer. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. The CGI looks great. Story seems
It
enticing.
does look really good.
If it's on HBO Max, I'll be checking it out because I know that they have a lot of releases like Godzilla vs Kong and Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman coming out. But I don't know, maybe we'll do like a watch along together, something like
Might be fun.
on our Strictly Casual Discord. If you haven't joined up in that, feel free. You can keep up with the community and post
Nice.
memes, talk food and stuff in there.
That'd be lit.
Nice.
Anyways, Luigi, what do you have next?
So I wanted to take this time, like we always do every episode, and talk a little bit about WandaVision. The latest episode 7, dropped this week. And this is your spoiler warning for anybody who's not caught up. 3, 2, 1.
Spoilers.
Agatha Harkness.
Just say it.
Oh my
Straight
God.
into it.
Agatha Harkness. No.
Oh my gosh. I want to say, let me give you my 30-second quick recap of this episode. Personally, I really enjoyed this episode for 2 reasons. I love the breaking of the fourth wall that is seen throughout the whole episode, which is to me a sense of the world crumbling around Wanda. And that's why we start seeing these fourth wall breaks, because she can no longer hold on to what's going on anymore. And you can tell she's losing it throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what I love about this is it plays into the villain's hands, right? Agnes is able to take her kids away without even having to take them. She gives them to her just by simply saying, "Oh, I want to help you. You know, you need a rest." And it plays right into her plan. You know, she has her kids now. And then on top of that, we finally get the reveal of Agnes becoming Agatha. And it's interesting because you see it in this moment that happens when Monica Rambeau returns back into the world and suddenly goes and kind of breaks the illusion for Wanda. That's when Agnes was like, it's either now or never, because the good guys are starting to come into this world that we've created. And if I don't reveal my plan now, then it might not happen, right? So then she takes Wanda into her little lair in her basement, which was such a creepy reveal at first. I was like, what's gonna be in here? Like I was tripping out. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I love the finale jingle. I thought the introduction. What I loved the most about this episode was the way they introduced her magic and introduced Monica's powers. It was very subtle. It was just the color change in the eye, or it was just the turning of you saw the purple for Agatha. And it was just these little moments where you were like, little differentiation between the characters goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And what I started thinking once I saw this episode was Marvel is now going to really delve into the lore, I think, in these coming shows and episodes, where it's just like superheroes meeting supervillains in some scenario, and then how do they interact with each other? How does one defeat the other? And yes, obviously, I think there's still maybe a fourth hand at play here. But what I'm thinking is Agatha's using Wanda to get something, right? What that something is, we haven't found out yet. But I think it's going to be no. But I think she's using the kids for something. Whether she needs the kids' souls to become something, to free Mephisto, or who knows, or who knows. You can go down all sorts of rabbit trails. But I think deep down, it's still going to be Wanda breaking out and destroying this world. And people didn't want to pay too much attention to Vision in this episode, but I think Vision plays such a pivotal role here, because he's probably going to be the one that saves Wanda. Yeah. And this whole episode, we kind of see him lost. You know, he's hanging out with Tracy,
Darcy Lewis,
Darcy. You know, he's hanging out with her the whole time, thinking, oh, I need to be here with you because you're somebody that I just saw from the outside world, and now you're in this world with me. And yes, he frees her, but the whole time he's just trying to figure out who he is, because he has no sense of identity, right? And we see a huge identity crisis in this episode.
Oh, I thought he was just trying to get back to Wanda.
No, yes, but
figure out who he is,
it's
too,
like
find some knowledge
that too.
Right?
Yeah, because here's the thing. He saw her when he goes through the hex and he's outside. He saw Darcy, and he tells her, I saw you on the outside. How do you not remember me? And then because he frees her, she's able to have all this knowledge, because she says, I've been watching WandaVision all week, which is another funny fourth wall break, because we've all been watching WandaVision. But at the same time, she's like, I know what's wrong, I know what's real, and I know how I can help you, And it's like deep down at the end, she tells him, she's like, I can see the love that you and Wanda have is real. And I think that's where the show gets its like main like I guess like purpose behind everything, where it's like this show is about Wanda grieving through this whole process. She's alone, she's by herself. So I think that's when Agatha basically manipulated her, used that sadness for her own gain, and that's kind of where the show takes place, and what we're seeing now is the ultimate plan. But I just want to say that
was a long 30 seconds. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, before James, I want to hear your little spiel here before I get into my spiel. You're learning about the show. What do you got? What are your little quick thoughts about this?
Quick thoughts. I like this episode more than others. I think it took way too long to get to this reveal, however.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the most interesting part of the episode, I mean, Agatha definitely caught me off guard, but also Monica Rambeau's obtaining of her powers is also really compelling for me, because I really didn't care about Monica Rambeau until I started, like, I'm looking right now at
who she is,
her Earth 616 like page on her like superhero identity as Spectrum, and like her powers and abilities and stuff. And so I think she could prove to be really pivotal if she like, if her powers awaken and she's able to like use them during this, because a lot of it is like working with energy fields and types of like energy. So I think that'll be interesting to see her dynamic throughout this whole thing. I was gonna say one more thing, but I forgot.
Okay, I like your take. I like the powers. I'm a big fan.
I remember. How many? So we have 2 more episodes left.
2 more.
Yeah.
And are they both 1 hour long?
Who knows at this point, bro?
That's neither confirmed nor denied.
knows?
People are still saying those last 2 now will be an hour long when they were saying that about the last 3. So I don't think we should. No confirmation on that. Who knows? I assume 40 minutes, maybe both. Like with 20 minutes of credits.
I'd love, I'd love a 1 hour finale. I'd love a 1 hour finale.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Like even if it's just that last episode's an hour, like just give it to me, cause I need it.
Because there's a lot. I mean, I don't want to. James, do you have anything else? I don't want to cut you off.
No,
You're
you're
good.
good.
Okay. Overall, that sounds positive. I feel like when me and Vincent we reacted to the episode, we had kind of a shock because for one, in my opinion, I won't speak for Vincent, but as for my opinion, I loved Agatha Harkness. I'm like, yes, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted. And I hope people know that when I reacted to that, I was like, oh, yes, this is great. But I was a little adamant about it because when they said it was all her and just her, I was like, man, I hope Marvel switches it up on me and says that it's Mephisto or Nightmare or someone else here at play, because I don't want it to just be one person. I want it to be like a bigger thing in here, But there's so many things. If we only have 2 episodes left, my worry is, how do you expect me to believe that Marvel's going to set up the big cameo that Paul Bettany's talking about, the aerospace engineer, who Pietro is, who Hayward is, maybe Mephisto, maybe Nightmare, all this stuff. They're going to set up another big bad for Wanda to kill, and then in 5 minutes, and then just belittle him. Like, it's like, you can't expect me to believe they'll do that, which makes me feel bad that it's only probably just going to be Agatha, why I was upset. So that's my thought on that. I can go on, but
I don't think these characters are gonna disappear after this show, right?
Really?
I don't think Agatha Harkness is gonna just be in WandaVision. I think we're gonna see her stick around
Doctor
the
Strange?
MCU. I don't know if in Doctor Strange, but I think she's a magic person. So it's like she reveals it. She says, "You didn't think you were the only, magic girl here, did you?" Or something like that. It's like saying that they're opening that door to the possibility of more like. I think magic being introduced to where it's like, oh, these enchantress, can hide in the background.
That's what I hope.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like they don't have to just be right in your face. Oh, I'm a villain. It's like more behind the shadows, pulling the strings, and then it's revealed. Like that's why I think you might see Agatha, or you might see whoever they're setting up, because clearly it's like there's a setup here. There's a big setup. This person was revealed as a throwaway of like to get people like you or Vincent to be like, what was this about? Where's the big baddie that I was looking for?
If what you're saying is true, then that means okay, I'll be quiet and I'll wait, and that makes me happy, because it just feels like based on what they've reviewed about the MCU for Phase 4 and 5, they're not going that route. That this show, the confines of this, the villain, the big bad, ends with this, because the multiverse has other villains to deal with, and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange might deal with Nightmare and some other thing that they have to close off this plot line, and because it's going to end on a cliffhanger with Mephisto, and then they have to deal with that in the movie?
I don't think so. I
think
I think Agatha is going to use Wanda to open up a door to some other reality. Like if the multiverse happens, it might be because Agatha uses Wanda's power to make the multiverse happen. But I still believe that Doctor Strange is going to be the one that does it. Some people are speculating Doctor Strange is that little bunny. Who knows, man?
No, I
Who
heard
knows?
about that too.
But like, I'm very, very excited for these next 2 episodes. Like, every single one of these episodes, I've scooped up, and I'm like, yum, 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 yum. Like, I'm not upset about any of it. Like, give me more of the WandaVision. So
absolutely. Yeah, I can.
But
go on
anyways,
forever, but we'll go ahead and continue on now. Up next, I have Jesse Plemons, very great actor. He's going to be starring in a Martin Scorsese film. His brand new one, Killers of the Flower Moon, with Leonardo DiCaprio moving to a different role. Apparently, Jesse Plemons turned down a role for the Jordan Peele film. Jordan Peele asked him to be in his next film, but he turned it down so that way he can be in the Leo Scorsese film. And he's playing a cop.
Shit, that'd be hard to turn down Jordan Peele for a Scorsese with DiCaprio.
I thought
like,
Scorsese was done.
is he? No, he's not
know.
retired yet.
Yeah, I think he's still kicking.
He's
But
got
that's
a couple.
how you know you made it though in Hollywood, when you have Scorsese and Peele being like, "You want to be in my movies?" Like, wow, you're doing
Seriously.
great. You're doing great, man.
I love
Seriously.
Scorsese. But there is a Constantine reboot in the works at HBO Max from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot. Confirms. What is Deadline? Is that
The
that the
news
name
report,
of it?
yeah, confirms from Deadline.
okay?
Is from Deadline.
John Constantine is set to be cast as a diverse lead. When I read Bad Robot, that made me a little skeptical because Bad Robot doesn't normally put out great stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I'm a
mean,
J.J. Abrams hater.
Action flicks. I mean, 10 Cloverfield Lane I enjoyed. Overlord is one of my cult classics. It's one of my favorites. I think
I never seen Overlord.
that was a great
Me
one.
neither.
It's like, it reminded me of Call of Duty Nazi Zombies, and that was like, oh,
Okay.
it was great. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, Constantine's iconic character from the DC Comics. There's been a show. I mean, Constantine has been in the Arrowverse, as they call it in the CW.
I love Constantine.
Me too.
Yeah, there's
I think it's great.
Constantine's super cool.
I think it's interesting.
Mainly from. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's interesting because J.J. Abrams has another original drama called Subject to Change at HBO Max. So I wonder if he's made a deal with HBO Max to just produce a couple projects. Because like Constantine is a pretty big property for him for his production company to take over. You know, so I'm curious to see what his iteration will be on that character, like what comic book line he'll follow. But
All right, Luigi, who's your dream cast for Constantine?
bring me Keanu again, just like an older, grittier Constantine.
Keanu Reeves.
I don't want I want a blonde Constantine.
You want a
a
like
Daniel Craig?
Ooh,
Oh,
Daniel Craig?
Okay. He moved
I
on
think
from
Da-
Bond to Constantine.
I think Daniel Craig
Okay.
would be an incredible Constantine.
Okay, I like that.
I was
That would
thinking.
be amazing.
I couldn't
his
say. I don't know too much about Constantine to give my 2 cents. But
He's just like he's like a middle-aged, just jaded dude
Yeah.
who's really badass. Like he just does sorcerer stuff, and it's so sick.
He's like casting demons out of people and like.
And he knows he's like stronger than everyone else. pretty
Yeah.
much,
oh, okay, cool.
Exactly.
because he literally is.
All right.
Yes.
I also have, this is pretty interesting as well. Tim Burton's live-action Addams Family spin-off series Wednesday lands its home at Netflix. So this basically is a coming-of-age comedy from the creators of Smallville, and it follows Wednesday Addams through her spooky school years at Nevermore Academy. So Tim Burton attached to anything Addams Family, that's just a match made in heaven for me, I think.
Kind of is, yeah.
It might be
Messed up.
Disappointment Boulevard though.
Oh, what you
just
got
be
with
ready
that?
for that film because Ari Aster's coming out with a film called Disappointment Boulevard with Joaquin Phoenix. Phoenix is gonna be fantastic. I don't know if he'll disappoint because he never does, but it's an
I really
interesting
like Ari
title.
Aster.
It's a really interesting title for a film.
Is this based on his short film?
I'm not sure.
I think it is.
You think so?
I think I heard about this before, and if you have not seen it, it's literally maybe 3 to 6 minutes, something like that,
Okay.
and it's really good. It's really trippy. It has a lot to do with mental illness.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a
As
match.
Ari Aster normally tackles like
Yeah.
big things. So I highly recommend.
Then it's probably
Okay.
It's
gonna
on
be
YouTube.
perfect. I think Joaquin Phoenix with his performance from Joker really.
I think that's probably
caught,
why I wanted him.
he caught the eye, and so doing a picture like this, oh man, I can only imagine the schemes they cook up in this one. It's gonna be interesting.
I'll watch it.
I'm
I love
excited.
Ari Aster.
Next up, do you guys think Matrix 4? What are y'all's thoughts on that? Because Neil Patrick Harris was on set and said it didn't feel like a blockbuster. He said it just felt like a regular movie. So that's
Okay.
interesting. I don't know what
could
that...
that could be good to hear, because if they're keeping it more like low scale, that means that they're maybe not, splurging on like a high CGI budget and going all out with the action. Maybe they're more making it like a intense,
That'd be cool.
story-driven character take on Keanu Reeves and his character.
But is that what The Matrix is?
No, I know. Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
It's a big
Come
CGI
on.
blockbuster. I don't know why. Yeah, but that's an interesting.
Exactly.
Who knows? Maybe he's just talking. out of-
I also have
What do you
no
think?
dog in this fight. I've literally maybe seen half of The Matrix, so
Wow,
Okay.
of the original, the first one.
of the original, yeah.
But
Definitely
Okay.
finish that one. For the rest of them, I'm like whatever, but that first one is pretty solid.
I'll go ahead and I'll speed through some of these last ones that I have right here. Let's see. We have a new Cruella trailer starring Emma Stone. It shows us kind of a glimpse into the mad mind of the fashion designer and her origin story.
I did see that.
Have you guys seen it? Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's,
No, I haven't seen
I
it.
dude, I was actually shocked by that. I was like, wow, they really delved out this character to the max. Like,
people were saying it's like Joker, but for like the female version.
female
Very
Joker.
interesting.
Female Joker
well,
is accurate.
Not the female Joker per se, but like the style of the Joker film. You know, like
for sure.
I
its
see.
origin, how she gets crazy and she becomes, into her. But yeah, Emma Stone, I mean, she's already kind of nuts already. So I think it's a perfect casting there. I mean, she's not crazy, but she knows how to go. She's out there, So I think it looks
Absolutely.
great. We also have the Bridgerton star Reggie Jean Page boards the Dungeons and Dragons film in a leading role, and he's gonna be joining Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and Justice Smith. What do you guys think?
Epic.
How's that Dungeons and Dragons film gonna be? Like, is it gonna be like a giant dice in the
No,
sky just rolls?
I don't think they
And the
take this
characters
so
just
literal,
do
you know?
stuff?
I don't. It'll probably be similar to like a
Immediate-
Jumanji.
Yeah.
Or like Warcraft, where it was just like
No.
realistic?
Yeah, probably. I'd go Jumanji.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have Marvel gets Punisher and Jessica Jones rights back from Netflix. They just got
I
them
don't
this
care
week.
about either of these shows.
Right. I'm just reporting the news, James. You don't have to hate me for it.
No, wait. What was
no.
that? You said
They're just getting the rights.
No, I know.
I know.
People like these shows a lot. I just don't.
I didn't watch them. I'll be honest.
No.
I didn't watch them. I really didn't watch the Netflix Marvel shows. Like, I just didn't.
You didn't watch Daredevil?
I haven't watched Daredevil yet.
Daredevil was a treat.
I watched the sequence where
Bring
he
it
goes
back,
through the
Netflix.
hallway. I watched that and it was lit, and I was like, "This is a good show." But I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
ever follow up. I never followed up. So
no,
I should-
understandable.
shame.
It's fine. I think this is good because if they get the rights, that just means more content, more Disney Plus series. So just feed it to me.
Well, we knew that they were gonna get the rights. I just didn't know when.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
just
true,
glad that it's finally happening. Also, we have some other news. The world's most magical celebration. That's right. Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary begins on October 1st, 2021, and will last for 18 months.
18 months.
That's a long time. That's a big birthday.
Yeah,
Nobody celebrates their birthday for that long.
for a year and a half. That's
For
literally-
the course of 2 birthdays.
I know.
That's a little.
Count on them.
a little
to-
much.
It's so pretentious.
That's really pretentious.
They're gonna
It's
have
Disney.
merch. They're gonna have their 50th year merch for their 51st, and it's gonna be ridiculous. $60
And those
for a
Disney
cup.
girls are gonna eat it up.
Oh man.
Heck yeah.
Oh, God.
I might snag something 50th
Yeah.
merch.
Absolutely.
Resale value in another 50 years. I'll give it to my kids. Be like, hey, sell that 50th anniversary Mickey Mouse card for $5,000.
Yeah, it'd probably be worth that much.
Yeah.
At that point, it'll probably be 5,000 monkey chips because we're gonna transition to a different
the heck?
currency altogether.
Those
It's just gonna be
random
monkey
thing-
chips.
Monkey chips.
Anyways, guys, I got 2 more stories here. I'm gonna queue up the first one because it's a little bit more interesting. The second one's a little bit more intense. First one is South Park is queuing up for its next 1-hour vaccination special.
And I can't wait.
Me too. The pandemic special was so
I
awesome.
love South Park.
Absolutely loved it. And this one's apparently going to be about the QAnon conspiracies and the vaccination.
Incredible.
Wow.
And I think
Great.
some people were saying, is Cartman going to be anti-vax? We'll see. We'll see.
I can
Wow.
totally see that happening.
I definitely am excited for this, but that was quick. Last one that I have is another member of the Justice League cast is speaking out. Harry Lenix, who plays Martian Manhunter, is actually coming out against Josh Whedon, saying the rumors are true, the scandal is real. Josh Whedon was a bad director. He just
Wow.
created a hostile work environment and didn't let us create in an environment of peace and joy, but it was more chaotic and messy, I would say, more than anything. So that was it. Another person's coming out. It doesn't look like Josh Whedon is going to be doing much for a little while.
Wow. That's harsh to hear about him. Like not what you said. I just mean about him. Like
Wasn't he the
he's
original
done for.
director for the Avengers? He directed the original Avengers, right?
Both of them. Avengers 1 and 2.
That's crazy to go down that road. Like, just switch franchises and then suddenly you were a douchebag. Maybe he was trying to destroy DCEU from the inside.
Oh my God, he had an
agenda
I don't know, man.
He was a Marblehead, and then he was like, let me go to the other side and just wreck it. Like Wreck-It Ralph. I'm going to wreck it. Okay. Yeah. That's it for me. Does anybody else have any more news?
James, I can pitch
got
you.
one.
What do you got?
Let's do it.
I got one. Netflix has a new Dota anime called Dota Dragon's Blood, and it gets a trailer and March 25th release date. And Yuri Lowenthal's a voice actor, so
nice.
I like Yuri Lowenthal. Yeah,
that's
I have really no opinions about it. A lot of people like Dota. If you guys don't know, Dota's just pretty much like League of Legends, but not.
yeah. I've seen footage of it on the game, but
people are really excited for it. It looks pretty cool, honestly.
I think Netflix has really been spearheading their anime, man. They've really been pushing out a lot of anime shows.
That's some good stuff.
Pacific Rim, they're doing, I think, a Godzilla one. I think. Yeah. I don't know. They're just pushing them out. They're pumping them out, which is cool. All right, I have a lot of light news. We'll get through this kind of fast. The Snyder Cup is gonna. The Snyder Cup.
the Snyder Cup.
Yeah, the Snyder Cut will be dropping worldwide on March 18th, same day as the U.S. So for those of you listeners that aren't in the U.S., you get to film same day as everybody. We have some Doctor Strange news. The Multiverse of Madness sequel will be scored by Danny Elfman. He and Sam Raimi have collaborated before, most notably on Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Danny Elfman. Nice. He's iconic, man. He did, I think, Batman. He's done a lot of great.
He did Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice.
What?
And Black.
I hope he has a cool theme for this, because I think the Doctor Strange theme is one of my favorites. So looking forward to seeing how he makes his take on it.
Cool.
We also have Atlanta, the FX show starring Donald Glover, will be filming in March. Their season 3 and season 4 back to back.
Sweet.
So you can expect those to be coming soon.
Show.
We have Paddington 3 is officially in development. I know a lot of people that love Paddington.
People are saying it's gonna be the best movie ever made.
Yeah, it probably will be.
People love Paddington.
Little bear.
Isn't the first one like 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes?
So. One of those, yeah.
Holy crap.
I believe it.
Crazy. And then we got The Umbrella Academy. Season 3 has started filming per Elliot Page on his social media. Oh, there you go. There you have it.
Interesting. That is a good lineup. We had a lot of news today. We had a lot of fun, James. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And before we let you go, we're going to wrap up with our recommendations. As you know, for our audio listeners, we love to recommend shows to you guys because we just love talking about film and TV, and sometimes it might be a YouTube documentary that I recommend. I don't know. But for this week, you guys already know because I already talked about it. It's Young Rock. That's right. You guys better check out Young Rock because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is great at marketing himself, and I'm all for it. Dwayne, you got my vote. 2035. All right.
Oh, my God. I like that. My recommendation, I've been watching a lot of Fargo. I have Hulu now, so I've been watching the Fargo TV series from FX. I'm on season 1 right now. It's good. It's getting real good. It stars Martin Freeman. We got Billy Bob Thornton. Some other popular actors. It's great. Definitely check out Fargo if you're into like cops and criminals. Classic. But yeah, that's it. What about you, James? What do you got?
Oh my gosh, put me on the spot. I talked about it earlier before, but if you're an anime person and you're not already watching Jujutsu Kaisen, you need to get on that right now. It's on episode 18, so it's still in that point where you could be catching up.
Ooh.
It's really looking to be one of the best shonen anime to ever be created if it's still going in the direction that it's going. So if you want to hop on that train, hop on the wave, you better do it now.
Where can they find?
I don't know what you're doing.
Where can they find the show?
You can find it on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your recommendations. You guys are beautiful. And I just enjoyed myself. This has been so much fun. Episode 6, everybody. This is the way it's done here. Freeze frame. We kill it every time. We deliver the news. Thank you so much for all our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, all those places. Yeah. Also, YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for tuning in. Subscribe. Leave a review. And also check out Checkpoint, hosted by James Walmer and Vincent DeSantis, our beautiful partners. They're always killing it, and we always love having them here. Thank you so much once again. That's it for me. This has been Luigi. See you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.